This is the Free State Stadium on what is a make-or-break afternoon for the British Lions of 1980. Gloriously sunny weather, a temperature about 18 degrees Celsius, a very light south-westerly wind, not the northwesterly we were expecting, and a firm, well-grassed pitch. There are no late changes, and 60,000 people have packed this wonderful stadium for the first international to be played here for many, many years. The only previous international between South Africa and the British Isles played in Bloemfontein was the fourth test in 1962, and there's the Lions team for this afternoon. An unchanged pack of forwards, but 5 changes behind the scrum. Andy Irvine playing in his second match of the tour at fullback replaces O'Donnell. We've got Hay for Sleman, who's gone home. Gravel and Woodward in place of Richards and Rennick. Gareth Davies, his fourth match of the tour, now recovered from injury in place of Tony Ward, who kicked a record 18 points at Newlands. And that's the pattern in the Lions team for this afternoon. The Springbok team has just one forced change since the first test in Cape Town a fortnight ago. The lock Mona van Heerden is out with an injured ankle and has been replaced by his Transvaal teammate Kevin de Klerk, you can see wearing number 4 this afternoon. De Klerk played in both internationals against South America earlier in the season. It's a young, relatively inexperienced team with 4 players blooded in Cape Town, appearing in only their second international match. The most experienced man on the field is Captain Morné du Plessis. That's in Springbok colours. He plays in his 18th test. The other du Plessis in the side is Willie du Plessis, playing at centre, wearing number 12. And now we wait for the teams to come onto the field. It was 1962 that we last had an international between South Africa and the British Isles here at this particular stadium, and it was an unhappy afternoon for the Lions because they lost by a record margin. It was 34-14 in favour of South Africa in a series that South Africa won, 3 wins and 1 draw in that 4-match series. Now this afternoon, as the British Lions take the field, led by Billy Beaumont, number 4, the British Isles team must at least draw the match if they are still to win the series. For South Africa, led onto the field in a moment by Morné du Plessis, a win would be sufficient to ensure that they do not lose the series. And a very warm welcome to viewers in New Zealand who've again joined us live by satellite. Great to have you with us, sharing in this great rugby occasion in the city of Bloemfontein. And the Springbok captain, Morné du Plessis, whom we'll see in just a moment, he has returned to his home city, the city of his birth, Bloemfontein. There's Mulman, that's Stoffberg, Naaspoorter with a fair hair. Onto the field they come. Du Plessis, number 8 on the far side. Stoffberg walking towards the camera with the beard. The man with the ball is the Springbok captain, who has played 104 matches for Western Province, 93 of them as captain, and a great burden rests on his shoulders this afternoon, but the most experienced South African on the field. Naaspoorter, the man who will kick off for South Africa. South Africa with his light southwesterly behind them. And the referee this afternoon, a neutral referee from France, Mr. Francis Palmade, 41 years of age, 9 years on the international panel, his 13th international match this afternoon. South Africa then from right to left across the screen. A tense moment for the crowd, who I'm sure are hoping that the team that runs best with the ball will win this afternoon, and the match is on. Colclough shovels it back, Mulman coming through, number 5, onto Patterson, but South Africa takes the ball very untidily, and the first scrum of the afternoon goes down. In the front rows, Clive Williams, Peter Wheeler and Graham Price for the Lions, Price on the near side, and Richard Prentice, Vinnie Karts and Martin Sleroux for South Africa. Lions put in free kick coming up, the first kick of the afternoon, and it's South African ball. Devon Serfontein of Western Province, the scrum half, and beside him captain Mornay Duplessis. Back to Nasburter, who drops for goal. And Bruce Hayes across there, so is fullback Andy Urban, who touches down. 22-metre dropout for the British Isles. Sharing comments this afternoon, here's a man who played over 40 games for Transvaal Province, Hugh Bladen, but now we watch Gareth Davies, fully recovered now, and played a vital game against Transvaal last week. Stoffberg gets the ball back to Bloemfontein. This is Nasburter. And ball thrown inside from Duplessis to Duplessis, and a break by the Lions. Gravel, and hacked through by Colin Patterson, and a useful touch. Less than 2 minutes into the match.
Well, you saw there a good refereeing by Mr. Palmade. The Springboks had a slight forward pass. He was about to blow his whistle, saw the Lions get the advantage and let it go.
First line out. Ball being thrown in by Willie Karts, who plays for Northern Transvaal Province, palmed across by Mulman for South Africa. That's the South African 10-metre line. Nasburter lifts it up onto Andy Urban, playing in his second game in South Africa on this tour, one of the replacements for the many injured players in the British Lions touring party. Fullback Hazy Pienaar, who kicks it.
One noted there that Andy Irvin had time to get onto his right foot, but there have been rumours that he's having more trouble with that hamstring that he's letting on, and it was interesting to see Andy Irvin kicking for touch with his left boot.
Now the first Lions line out, ball being thrown in by Peter Wheeler of England, 31 years of age, second oldest man on the field. The oldest is Prentice, who's getting his head in there for South Africa. Front row forward, Patterson trying to work it through. O'Driscoll is a deputy scrum half for a moment. There goes Patterson to take his place. It's the British Isles 22-metre line, and Gareth Davies clears again. Gareth Davies of the Cardiff club, fourth match of the tour, and 26 points in the 3 games he's played. Back we go to the halfway line. Glorious sunshine. At the back of the line, O'Driscoll, and for South Africa, Rob Lowe. Untidy possession again. These opening exchanges, while 2 packs of forwards measure up against each other, and down they go again for the third scrum of the afternoon. Patterson with the put-in. The wheeling scrum, of which we'll see plenty this afternoon. Springbok players darting back onside. And away it comes to Davies. Misjudged kick. And that line out on the Lions' 10 metres line. 4 minutes into the match. Bit of a heavy tackle there by Duplessis on Gareth Davies. Checking that leg of his. Now we watch the Northern Transvaal and South African hooker Willie Karts, who's back into that loose scrum very quickly. Borter inside his own half. Irvin underneath it, being tested by Willie Duplessis. That's the 22-metre line. South Africa driving hard. Underneath it all, the Springbok captain, Rob Lowe, in for the tackle on Derek Quinnell, the Lions number 8. Referee giving a helping hand to Derek Quinnell. Andy Urban is there, and so is the Springbok captain. There's the front row, Graham Price on the near side. Vital put in for South Africa, and a foot up. A free kick. South Africa in a vital position, of course, with Nasburter all set for the drop for goal, and an over hasty foot came up. Useful touch kicked by 24-year-old Gareth Davies. Played a lot of rugby for Oxford, and these days his club rugby for Cardiff. Back into the Springbok half of the field. 6 minutes into the match, no score.
Front ball.
Billy Beaumont up there at number 2, which is more or less where the ball goes. Kevin de Klerk seemed to get the better of it. And Botha again puts the ball up onto the opposition. Patterson this time. This is Kermishuis. Help from Serfontein. Patterson gets the ball to Graham Price. And referee is now challenging Martin Sleroux. Plays his rugby for Free State right here in Bloemfontein. Colin Patterson with the put in. Holding it at the back is Quinnell. Davis. And a relatively quiet start to the match.
Well, neither side gaining much advantage. Both sides taking their own balls, but the referee keeping a very tight rein on the loose exchanges.
In the short line out, Mulman, it's de Klerk, Mulman and Duplessis at the back for South Africa. Mulman takes it, but not cleanly enough. Fed through by Jeff Squire, and Derek Quinnell very nearly set sail for the far line. Down they come again on the near side for South Africa now. The oldest man on the field, oldest player on the field, Prentice, who's played 80 games for Transvaal, 33 years of age, great enthusiast, didn't play serious rugby till after he left school, and Serfontein's got so little room to move there with Patterson marking him. There's that light breeze in the touch judge's flag on the near side. Mr. Gerrit Kutzer on the near side. There's Billy Beaumont. Bit of unhappiness about that arm. It's Kevin de Klerk. Being held now by Peter Wheeler on the halfway line. Three quarters have scarcely touched the ball this afternoon. And it's Derek Quinnell trying to break through opposition from Lowe and Duplessis. Well fed through now to Gareth Davies. Full-back Pienaar after it. He's got lots of time. It's a hard surface, but a very good covering of what we call kikuyu grass in South Africa. That's Gysie Pienaar. His names are Zacharias Matthias Johannes. They call him Gysie. Now Peter Wheeler of England, an experienced front row. Wheeler and Price have played in 5 Lions internationals together. At the back it's O'Driscoll. Beaumont pouncing on it. Chipped through by Serfontein. And he's got a good rolling touch.
That was good play by Morné Duplessis originally, getting to that point of breakdown, controlling the ball well, and a lovely little kick by Serfontein.
Tension in the air caused by the fact that a wounded lion, as those who know the South African game reserves will know, is a very dangerous beast indeed. And with the British Isles, 1 international down, they are going to be dangerous this afternoon. Again, Mr. Palmar de France insisting the South Africans are not doing it to his satisfaction. And here comes the clearing kick from Gareth Davies of Wales. A quick throw in, it's allowed. And it's Pienaar with a chip through again. Andy Irvine is there. Now the counter-attack. The first run, Gareth Davies outside him, being chased by Raymond from Zimbabwe. In goes Prentice, number 1, and Peter Wheeler's there for the British Isles. Well, not much came of it, but it was good to see Andy Irvine prepared to counter-attack from 30 metres out from his own goal line. Now Rob Lowe, number 6 at the back of the line for South Africa, a man who had a thrilling game in at Newlands and scored a try. Held by Monet Duplessis in that scrum. And Duplessis, missing out Duplessis to Hermes, who puts his shoulder into his opposite number. Billy Duplessis now being thrown out by Colin Patterson.
Nice to see the Springboks prepared to run the ball down the line.
Billy Duplessis from Stellenbosch, born in Somerset East. Good quick Lions ball. Not more than 15 metres on that touch. Patterson to Davies. Through on to Casey Pienaar. Bruce Hay from Scotland who challenged. Now Irvine on his 22-metre line. Does not retire. This is Hermes. Inside to Lowe. This is Duplessis. Back to Lowe. Rob Lowe scores his second try for South Africa, and here it is again. This is the counter-attack by Irvine on which South Africa were allowed to capitalise. Kermasace on the left wing, linking well with Rob Lowe, outside to Vinnie Duplessis, the centre, and Rob Lowe, who was tackled, got up and took the ball again to score in the corner. The first try of the match coming after 12 minutes. And Nasbota from the touchline has missed it. 4 points to 0, and the match suddenly comes alive.
Well, again, one saw very definitely, I think, Andy Irvine nursing that right hamstring of his. He didn't lay into that kick as he should have, and it was right down the throat of Gerrie Hermes. And again, Rob Lowe, a vital factor in the Springbok side, handling twice to go over.
And Lions going in with a vengeance now, 4 points in arrears, and that's not what they wanted in this very important international for them. They won't forget easily 1962 and that massive margin of victory for South Africa. Patterson doesn't even feed it through. Right wing Raymort from Zimbabwe, put down by Bruce Hay. Now this is Andy Irvine again. He will kick for touch. Well, there was a feeling that at Newlands the Lions gave away too many tries. The margin of victory for South Africa there was 5 tries to 1, and South Africa took every opportunity there, but the Lions certainly gave them the opportunity. And here again, a mistake perhaps by the Lions to open up that gap in their defence for Rob Lowe, an enterprising flank forward to get through. The Lions have brought it through beautifully. Gareth Davies. Casey Pienaar under it with time. This is Peter Wheeler facing this bright South African sunshine. Man from Leicester to throw in. The Lions will use that ball now as they drive into the loose. Again, it's Patterson up the line. Devon Serfontein who's in trouble. It's O'Driscoll there. And O'Driscoll is through. Patterson and O'Driscoll capitalising on that. was Divan Serfontein unable to control that awkward ball as the Lions charged through to level the score now. That's the chip ahead by Patterson. Back in defence is Serfontein. Here comes O'Driscoll, number 7. And Naasbroter couldn't hold him out, not even with help from Mornay Duplessis.
Well, a very good kick by Patterson. Just before he took the ball out of that ruck, he looked up and he saw the open space, and a lovely little kick by him.
Gareth Davies with a kick that could put the Lions in front. More important, some measure perhaps of their kicking skills in this more rarefied atmosphere in Bloemfontein. It's dry and sunny, and the ball certainly travels at this altitude. It's over. British Isles take the lead by a margin of 2 points after 16 minutes in the first half. Coming over the top of that ruck, and the penalty to South Africa, the first penalty kick at goal of the afternoon, and Naasbroter has the ball in a very goalable position for him. He only had one penalty kick at goal in the first test at Newlands a fortnight ago, and he failed with it. But at Newlands he did convert 3 tries. Oh, struck just a little beyond the far upright, and it's certain to be a 22-metre dropout now for the Lions.
Well, Naasbroter not having too much success with his kicking in the tests. That wasn't a difficult one.
Beaumont among them. That's Wheeler breaking through there, but a foot in touch in the process. 6-4 the score in the British Isles' favour. Difference just being that conversion by Gareth Davies, which was a good one from the touchline. And good possession by the Lions. Precision kicking from the British Isles fly half. Referee's whistle just held them back for a moment. Number 6 is Jeff Squire towards the back of the line, but charging through is Stoffberg for South Africa. Controversial figure because of his enormous weight, but his lack of mobility. But on the open side now, you can see Rob Lowe for South Africa with the sweatband. And now they drive in again, and the ball wedged back. But that's hooker Willie Karts who came through to obstruct the passage of the ball, and the Lions try again. Help from Bruce Hay, who came in and then retreated. Wheeler takes it right into the arms of Rob Lowe over the halfway line. Lions driving well. Patterson chips it up onto Casey Pienaar, the South African fullback. Patterson having another great game in the first international. He was teamed, of course, with Tony Ward of Ireland. Now playing for only the second time in top-level rugby with Gareth Davies. They played against Transvaal together, and apart from university days, a new-looking combination. Certainly at international level. Tremendous jump there by South Africa, but again lost to little Patterson. He's a great player. He probably will have enjoyed that scragging. Mr. Palmard once again looking at the gap between the two sides. Great jump by Mulman. Naasbroter. This is Willie Duplessis, fullback. Pinar's in the line. Kermeshees. This is Andy Urban. Kermeshees is still there. Outside him, Smith, David Smith. And to the rescue, John Carlton on the right wing. That's Graham Price. Quinnell peeling off very rapidly, but there are enough bodies left there to ruck the ball back. Patterson to Davies. Rob Lowe after him. Gravel on his right, and he kicks it through.
Superb play by the Lions outside half there, where a quick decision, a lovely little jink, and welcome relief for the Lions, who at the moment are controlling most of the ball. They're getting the major share of the possession, and it's little Colin Patterson who at the moment is calling the tune.
22 minutes to play in the first half, and the Lions lead by a margin of 2 points. Du Plessis runs into a lot of trouble. Part of it is Jeff Squire, who was waiting for him with open arms. Bowman comes through with it. Ray Gravel getting in there, looking for the opposition. Grell, who didn't play in the first international, working hard there, ready to stem that South African attack the moment it starts. Serfontein to Naspota. Shows just how powerful that right foot of his is. Fine touch on the far side of the field, Mr. Steve Stradham, an international referee. That's Botha, 22 years of age and a great point scorer. Botha decides to run it out to Smith. In comes Irvin. Pinar, the fullback.
Well, Mr. Palmard quite rightly blowing up the Lions centres for obstructing the Springbok centres from coming through and chasing that neat little grubber by David Smith, and a good decision by the referee.
Naspota with his second penalty goal kick of the afternoon. First one from 27 metres out was a miss. This one a better angle. He's there. Naspota, the man who scored 32 points in his first 3 test matches, has now added another 3 points to make it 35. And South Africa take the lead after 25 minutes in the first half of the match. Gareth Davies restarts. Ball didn't float directly into touch. I suspect the forwards carried it and bumped it over. Now it's Peter Wheeler to throw it in. Number 8 is Quinnell. Number 6 is Jeff Squire, who's captained Wales in the last 5 Nations Championship. And right at the back, O'Driscoll, marked by Rob Lowe. Peter Wheeler in Colclough trying to work it back. Davies has the ball to Gravel on the burst. That's a great break. He's got Woodward, and this is the pass to Carlton, but Kermeshees is there. So close for the British Isles there. A great burst there by Ray Gravel. And Woodward was there, and John Carlton so nearly was fed with an overhead pass, could have put him into that right-hand corner. Probably Clive Woodward, playing at outside centre this afternoon. His first Lions international, comes from Leicester, and so far in the tour the top point scorer with 47 points in 5 games, and he scored 3 tries. Here it is again. That's the burst by Gravel, number 13. Links up beautifully with Woodward, and there's the tackle on Woodward. Nothing offensive about the tackle, and John Carlton fell a metre short with Gareth Davies appearing for the ball, or perhaps a try. But it looked to me, Hugh, as though it was a perfectly legitimate tackle on Woodward, but somebody came right on top of him.
Yes, it would be very unfortunate if Woodward had to go off. He timed that pass beautifully. It was a lovely pass over to Carlton, and the Springboks will struggle to keep this Lions out on this 5-yard scrum.
Looks as though he was winded, and now this vital put in for the British Isles. Colin Patterson gets the ball, but I think he didn't see it come through. It was flung through so fast by those raking forwards. South African defence holds good for the moment. Gravel tries to burst through again. South Africa waiting for him. Peter Wheeler is there. Now the Lions desperately need possession. If they can swing it out to the left, this could be it. There comes the break from Jeff Squire. And 2 or 3 South Africans are there. Referee Mr. Palmard is watching every move. South Africa leading by 7 points to 6, and the Lions in the last 4 minutes have done everything but score. Well, the Springboks have been warned by the power of that dive through, a magnificent break by Gravel, and then the ability to link up out to his right, almost to put John Carlton in. But the Lions still in a strong attacking position, and it's their put in. They're still going forward. Rob Lowe watching Patterson very carefully there. Number 13 is Gravel. Nasburter, a well-judged kick. He's just missed his touch. Here's Andy Irvine. Now what will he do? Round Hammershase he goes. Gravel on his left. Right into the thick of it. He's on right through. 10 metres to go. Coldclough. Patterson looking for the opening. South African defence is desperate now. This is Serfontein into trouble, and offer Lions back. Pienaar in possession of the ball. Let's see what Mr. Palmard does with that. He wants another scrum. South African put in.
Well, the Lions have certainly done everything but score. Perhaps a little over-eager, and the player carrying the ball, not letting it go at the vital moment.
Porter, 11 minutes before the half-time whistle, clears for South Africa, and respite for an exhausted green and gold pack. Nasburter, new captain of the Northern Transvaal, joint holders of the Currie Cup with Western Province, a young man with tremendous responsibility nowadays. Prentice and de Klerk for South Africa, Coldclough for British Isles. This is Quinnell, across the 22-metre line. Nasburter takes him with help from his captain. And this dangerous driving through. Dangerous for South Africa, not dangerous tactically. And the Springboks again thump it downfield and get a useful touch.
Well, 2 very welcome relieving touch kicks for the Springboks there. And I must say that it looked as if the Lions were going to force their way over, but a little bit of impetuous play by 1 or 2, as I said earlier, the ball carriers not possibly letting the ball go at the vital stage, but the Lions forwards certainly in control at the moment.
7-1-9.
Now we look for that control again, just inside the Springboks half of the field. 10 minutes to play in the half, and Springboks in front by 7 points to 6. Here they go again. Nasburter testing Hay, Bruce Hay on the left. Experienced full-back and wing for Scotland. He's played it safe. And Porter spins it out. Smith and Duplessis. Good break by Pienaar. Outside of Hammershase. And David Smith came so close there to taking the pass on the outside. A great break by Casey Pienaar, the South African fullback. And he had support, but David Smith away on his left just missed the pass.
Well, as good as Casey Pienaar's break is, I'm sure that the Lions management will be very happy with Bruce Hay.
Now, Botha spins it out. This is Smith again on the right wing. Ray Mort of Zimbabwe. In for the tackle, Bruce Hay. And he's still going. This is Ray Mort. Patterson's there. Captain Duplessis. Inside, well taken. Stian Stoffberg scores South Africa's second try. Morné Duplessis, the South African captain, was in there. And the high pass taken rather like Harry Kamasays. We'll watch it again.
Watch the strength of Ray Mort here. He fought off about 4 would-be tacklers. Morné came up. Beautiful ball player he is. And a lovely pass to Stian Stoffberg. Well done, Stian Stoffberg.
And Botha converts and South Africa lead by 13 points to 6. Well, that was a fingertip pass again, and Stoffberg, rather more like a three-quarter, brought the ball under control and scored South Africa's second try of the match. First successful conversion by Botha, an easy one, and South Africans with a vital lead. This is Stoffberg touching it down from the camera at the far end of the ground, the north end. Gareth Davies restarts. South Africa jubilant now. Billy Beaumont surging through nonetheless. And call back, Springboks decide to take the scrum on the halfway line. 2 tries to 1. A fortnight ago in the first test, it was 5 tries to 1 at the final count in South Africa's favour. Serfontein to Botha. Neatly ducking away from Gareth Davies, and now Andy Owen.
Well, a nice little jig from Naas Botha, but I'm sure if he watches that again, he'll be sorry that he didn't run and pass that ball.
O'Driscoll towards the back of the line. And this is Clive Woodward. Going very well. Nice break by Woodward. And now suddenly Billy Duplessis for South Africa. Pienaar the full-back. And the referee spotted the obstruction. That obstruction there on the South African.
Well, Ray Gravel, we were talking to a few Welshmen this morning and they were worried about the fact that Ray Gravel does tend to get in the way of the players. A little late shoulder, a little late bump. He's done it twice this afternoon, and Casey Pienaar there showing just how dangerous he is, popping into the line at the right moment and giving South Africa this opportunity.
Naas Botha, under conditions he likes. The lightest breeze behind him. It's there. Well, the verdict comes from an international and a neutral referee from France, so there'll be not much debating that one. A blatant late shoulder charge on the man after he had released the ball, and the Lions suffer the indignity of a scoreline 16-6 against them. Naas Botha, 2 penalty goals and a conversion for another 8 points into his international tally. Irvin with the mighty boot, such as he did last week against Transvaal, over the dead ball line. 22-metre dropout. Prentice with a balding head. Kevin de Klerk, who's replaced Mona van Heerden in the second row of the scrum, wears number 4. And the shadow of the main stand creeps ominously across the field to darken our pictures on this side slightly. Well taken there by Colclough and Beaumont together. Derek Quinnell working through with Peter Wheeler. The ball is behind them now. Little scissors movement. Gravel showing his strength now. O'Driscoll to the 22-metre line. Beaumont, number 4, is with him. 15 metres away, it's Colin Patterson. Gravel is there. Patterson still in possession. the Springboks forced the line out 15 metres from their goal line.
Well, again, we saw the disciplined mauling of the Lions, and O'Driscoll, such a valuable player in those ploys.
Beaumont at number 2, Colclough at number 4, but it only travels to number 2, and it's de Klerk on to Beaumont. Penalty for lifting, touch on the shoulder. The South African forwards, and a relatively easy kick for Gareth Davies. 10 points difference between the teams with 4 minutes to play in the first half. Gareth Davies, who scored a try and in all 26 points in his 3 appearances on the tour, injured in the opening match of the tour against Eastern Province, but back with a happy vengeance for the Lions party. A vital link in that three-quarter line. That's de Klerk. Kevin de Klerk of Transvaal. Yes, it's 16-9 the score, very close to half-time. And Gareth Davies has converted O'Driscoll's try and now adds his first penalty goal of the afternoon. Narsbotha, who's scored 756 points for his province of Northern Transvaal in 47 matches. Billy Beaumont, Quinnell to help. Stoffberg bursting through and getting back onside. Davies again, challenged by Rob Lowe. Always a half smile on his face, giving the impression that he really enjoys his rugby. Now, ready for the line out. O'Driscoll and Colclough. And Billy Beaumont, who's receiving attention. So for South Africa, in this first half of the second international, tries by Rob Lowe playing on the flank and Tiaan Stoffberg also on the flank, and penalty goals by Narsbotha, who's also converted one of the 2 tries. And for the British Isles, a try by O'Driscoll after a kick ahead by Patterson, and a penalty goal by Gareth Davies at fly half. The second test in 1974 in Pretoria, the Lions gave the South Africans their biggest hiding in history when they beat them 28-9, scoring 5 tries. Captain du Plessis, number 8. Woodward with the water bottle. And a lot of anxiety over Beaumont. Warne talking to Karts and Serfontein and Stoffberg. Beaumont's going to try to continue, and the crowd rightly applauds him. There is no way that anyone in this 60,000 crowd would like the British Isles to lose their captain at a vital moment like this, when they're trailing by a margin of 7 points. We go into injury time at the end of the first half, and Wheeler down in the tackle. Billy Karts is there, South Africa have it. Narsbotha with a long-range drop. No, it was so very, very close. It'll be a 22-metre dropout, and that one, as you saw, was from 40 metres and a bit of angle out. You might have called that audacious, and it so nearly came off.
Yes, he certainly hit that a lot better. It was interesting there to see Bill Beaumont, quite badly injured in the knee, getting back in the thick of things so quickly.
Moolman reached his fingers for that, and the Lions crunch in, but possession lost. Chipped on by Smith. David Smith, one of 2 Zimbabweans in the South African team. Rob Lowe is there. And referee wants what will probably be the last set scrum of the first half of the match. 16-9 the score in South Africa's favour. 2 tries to 1. Patterson to Davies. Gravel put down by Billy Duplessis. Stoffberg feeds out to Burta. Martin Slarou after the ball. Ball and player into touch. And it's Gravel on the ground, Ray Gravel. Well, he's a tough, uncompromising player. I don't think many people in the crowd will be sure exactly what it was that put him down. Was it a heavy tackle? Was it a loose elbow? We won't know at this stage. South Africa's 151st Test match this afternoon. They have a record of 93 wins and 42 defeats and 15 matches drawn. That includes matches against countries like New Zealand, who are viewing this afternoon, or shall I say in the early hours of the morning. Still Mr. Pamard, quite rightly, wants to be absolutely convinced that Gravel's all right before play resumes. And very nearly 43 minutes of play in this first half. 2 stoppages for injury. Contested up front once again. Goldcuff and Beaumont get the ball through. Patterson onto Kamases on the halfway line. That'll be a scrum. And the referee's whistle blows for half-time. South Africa lead in this vital second international in Bloemfontein. And kicks off for the British Isles at the start of the second half, and as so often happens when he does kick off, territorial gain is all he enjoys. The score is 16 points to 9. South Africa tries by Rob Lowe and Tiaan Stoffberg, and it's O'Driscoll for the British Isles who scored after 16 minutes in the first half. A warm welcome again to viewers in New Zealand who are with us live by satellite at this moment. We hope your reception is good as the South Africans drive downfield. Colin Patterson deftly back in defence, and a kick now from Bloemfontein at scrum half. Bloemfontein from the Western Province. There he is, a doctor by profession, and into the British Isles half of the field we go. This is Peter Wheeler of England to throw the ball in. Gareth Davies missing out Gravel. This is Woodward on the burst, and Andy Irvine coming up rapidly outside him, but Lars brought it to the tackle. Andy Irvine coming through to very fast, was so close there, and Kamases touches the ball down, and O'Driscoll, who came up to him there, was quite legitimately knocked to the ground. Penalty against South Africa.
And the referee giving a penalty against Gerrie Kamases, therefore barging into John O'Driscoll in the touch and goal area.
Well, it was the way he turned his shoulder. For a moment I thought that might have been legitimate, but referee says no, and the difference between the teams is 7 points, with Gareth Davies with a fairly awkward kick, virtually no wind to contend with this afternoon. Davies only his second penalty goal kick of the afternoon. He's done it! Fine kick by Davies, only 2 minutes into the half. And there's just 4 points in this make or break test for the Lions, who must at least share that final score this afternoon if they are still to win this 4-match series. Ahead of them, a fortnight hence, the 3rd international in Port Elizabeth, and then the crunch could come in the 4th international at Pretoria to end the series. Lars Burta restarts. Beaumont is there, so are 4 South African forwards. Peter Wheeler once again. 60,000 people enjoying the tension of this fascinating rugby match. Now, will the Lions in the first 20 minutes of this second half come back as they did at Newlands? Here we go, Gareth Davies it is. Up onto Khermases. And who scored that spectacular reaching try in the first test at Newlands.
Well, all South Africa will be happy that Gerrie Khermases kicked that one out.
6, 7, 6.
Lions consistently gaining possession in these tight and semi-tight phases of play. Morné du Plessis supervising at the back, but lost again to the Lions. Gravel quickly tackled by Vinnie du Plessis, very rapidly in on him. This is Carlton on the right wing. Jeff Squire turns his back on the opposition and back it comes. Incredible work in the loose by the Lions. And a fine touch by fly half Gareth Davies, teamed for the first time in an international with Colin Patterson. Two memorable moments in the first half when the Lions so very nearly scored in the right-hand corner, and then South Africa when David Smith just missed a pass, so South Africa nearly scored in the left-hand corner. Now the Lions looking dangerous. O'Driscoll surging through. Morné du Plessis to South Africa's rescue, and now trying to rake the ball back, but no sign of it. Francis Palmard refereeing his 13th international this afternoon, keeping tight control. Penalty tally just about even at the moment. Goes in once again to inspect the damage. Those of you who've just joined us, only one international in the past between these two teams at this stadium, and it's Gravel inside again. South African defence is good. 15 metres out. Patterson again, the chip through. Back goes Khermases. Safely touchdown. 22-metre dropout. The only previous international between these teams played in Bloemfontein was 1962, when South Africa won by 34 points to 14. In the 74 tour, the match played at this stadium was against Free State, when Free State led by 2 points with 2 minutes of injury time gone, and the British Isles just saved their record. O'Driscoll gets in, so does Billy Beaumont. Seems all right after that injury. Serfontaine lifts it, and he's got a 25-metre touch. 16-12 the score. South Africa lead. Short line, Moolman number 5, O'Driscoll opposite him, and Beaumont is there, and so is Kevin de Klerk. O'Driscoll loses it to Moolman. Now Botha uses the boot again. This is Andy Irvine.
Andy Irvine caught out there a little. He was waiting for the ball to roll over the line, and Billy du Plessis and David Smith, it always takes two to get up there and tackle, and Billy du Plessis cornering Andy Irvine very well.
Crowd saying go now, South Africa so close. Botha drops for goal and misses. Great race there between Rob Lowe and Colin Patterson. People were more concerned, I think, about the miss in the drop goal than they were about what was happening to the ball. Charged down, Gareth Davies afterwards, so is David Smith. A direct kick into touch from outside the 22-metre line. And I think he badly grazed his back as he slid through. That's Gareth Davies in discomfort on the 22-metre line.
Well, to go back to play a little earlier, those of you who are watching would have seen that huge gap that opened up for Bloemfontein, and I'm sure if he watches this game on film again, he'll kick himself for not having taken that one.
Well, Naas Botha was the man who has dropped 45 goals in first-class rugby in 60 first-class matches. That's an incredible score anywhere in the world, but he's missed 3 drop attempts this afternoon. Here he goes again. This is Willie du Plessis. He's down the gap. And Raymond can only slither into touch. And Bruce Hay in trouble. He's the man who went in for the tackle. Played 5 games for Scotland at fullback and 12 on the wing, and Bruce Hay injured in his own tackle. And still this stoppage for injury.
Well, the Springboks forwards coming back into this game a lot better now. The Lions have been in almost total control of the tight loose and the loose ball, and there's Rob Lowe, who's had such a good game in the open loose, and when the ball goes loose, the Springboks look so much more dangerous.
It's 20 metres out for the Springboks. Woodward to Gravel. This is Irvin. He's got Carlton outside. Great tackle by David Smith.
Well, that was enterprising play by the Lions. Beautiful handling. Irvin coming in the line at the right time and showing just how handling can get one out of trouble as easily as kicking.
Willie Karts, well taken by Moolman. And Botha again hoists the ball, as you can see, up onto Irvin. Willie du Plessis for the tackle. And the anxiety there was as to how Andy Irvin took that incredible dive tackle by Willie du Plessis. Irvin, unbalanced as a man so often is, wasn't very happy about it. Colin Patterson with a put-in. Wheeler to Gareth Davies. There's the marauding Rob Lowe. And off the side of Andy Irvin's boot. That's Andy Irvin, one of the replacements on the tour, playing only in his second match this afternoon on South African soil, but he did play twice in the wing, of course, in 74 in the internationals and 4 times in New Zealand in 77. So he's 7th Lions international. That was Moolman again, lost to Wheeler, given to Patterson.
Peter Wheeler, most experienced international hooker and of great use in those front of the lineouts.
Beaumont. And Morris Coldclough with help from Beaumont, who's the last man. Clive Williams eventually has the ball. There's Beaumont in the thick of it. Who knows the extent of the injury he suffered a little bit earlier on, but he's certainly not going off the field. 25-year-old Serfontein feeds the scrum. Free kick against South Africa, foot up. Gareth Davies. 13 minutes into the second half. South Africa 16, British Isles 12. It's Kevin de Klerk leaning into the business. In front of him, Prentice. Stoffberg, number 7. Now he's funneled it through with help from Prentice. Bloemfontein to Botha. Good touch. Prentice down front. De Klerk behind him. The arm up is Martins Leroux.
The referee putting a hand on Louis Moorman's shoulder there, showing that he had interfered with the Lions player before it had been touched by the Lions.
Irvin being called up for the kick. This is the top point scorer on the 1974 Lions Tour of South Africa. Played last Saturday against Transvaal and goaled a penalty, but missed several attempts at conversion now from just inside his own half. A fine kick. Superb kicking from the man who's played 37 times for Scotland. Just 1 point in it. Fine breakthrough by South Africa now, 15 metres from the line. Beaumont supervising the back, watching Patterson. And South Africa so desperately wanting possession, and they got it in a different way.
Well, the Lions penalised for falling as the ball was coming out. You saw the Lions falling over that loose ball and the referee right on the spot. But the Springbok loose forwards harassing Patterson there, and South Africa need to retain this territorial situation. They are not controlling the ball as they should, and they need to stay in the Lions' half because the Lions really give very little away.
Botha. He's failed again, so he's kicked 2 out of 4 penalty goals this afternoon. And he's also converted 1 out of 2 tries.
I think a little lack of concentration from Botha there, lifting his head.
Botha swings it out. David Smith, Willie Du Plessis, fullback Pienaar. Gary Hammersace. John Carlton takes him. And the far touchline takes the ball. The referee insists on the scrum, probably for a knock on the far side. Patterson tries again. Good shove by the Lions.
Drive it away, Derek.
One point in it is an incredible situation in a match like this. After South Africa led by 16 points to 6 at one time. Great shove by South Africa. Morné Du Plessis, hands on hips. Rob Lowe, number 6. South Africa still unable to take advantage. The Lions have enjoyed so much clean possession in these phases of play, and South Africa just doesn't seem to show the same expertise.
Springboks taking a 5-man scrum here.
Rest of the forwards behind the back row of the scrum. A burst by Strockner and Norman. Botha, well taken. And a fine interception there by Bruce Hay, and a boot to it.
Well, that's the second time this afternoon that Bruce Hay has saved certain tries, and Nas put a lovely break but not quite been able to continue the movement, and Hay showing his worth as a wing and a sort of second fullback.
We've had more near tries than tries this afternoon. De Klerk at the front. Missing out Billy Duplessis. This is Botha doing it alone. Picked up by Serfontein, chased by Jeff Squire, number 6. And the Lions again find it. Casey Pienaar. That's a good touch. He was close to the touchline and he judged the angle well. This is Kelmersace, a man who scored 137 tries in first-class rugby, but not this afternoon. Formerly Free State, now Transvaal. Now it's Peter Wheeler with the sun in his eyes. Stockberg, number 7, getting back and using his shove. Pulls down Jeff Squire. Watching it, Patterson. Davis missing out his inside centre, Gravel. David Smith and Billy Duplessis in. Rob Lowe's there to join them. That's Bruce Hay playing on the left wing.
Hay showed his strength there, and a few Lions supporters unhappy with his original selection, but he's certainly proved his worth this afternoon.
Beaumont, anxious I'm sure, as he stands beside Kevin de Klerk about the 1-point deficit. Prentice holds it. Ball not in straight. And the scrum chosen. 6 metres outside South Africa's 22. Lions well back in defence at a steep angle. Now Woodward to link with Bruce Hay. O'Driscoll now in the thick of it, and back it goes yet again. This is Gareth Davies, who drops for goal. Referee Mr. Palmard of France was there to watch it miss, and there's no change in score. Good refereeing. He was in position after 22 minutes in the second half. South Africa still 16, British Isles 15. And no one in this 60,000 crowd on a gloriously sunny afternoon is going to move before the end of this match. Pienaar, who drops out. Bruce Hay underneath it, and well taken. Evan in the counter-attack. Gareth Davies. Now Sporter, his opposite number, who shepherds him somewhat untidily into touch, but back to the halfway line. And that's the leg that's gone. He said a scrappy tackle there, and a bit of anxiety now as Gareth Davies goes down again. De Klerk and Moolman together, Stoffberg. Gareth Davies is going to take his place, I suspect. A very anxious moment for the British Isles team. Beaumont, you'll notice, with a heavily bandaged left knee. Gareth Davies to resume. Well, he's prepared to try, but that must have been agony all the way. Casey Pienaar at fullback. Kermateis. Urban again. Pienaar with a raking kick. Now Bruce Hay has got a useful boot on him. Pienaar. Thought about the drop, I think, but a long way to go. It's over the dead ball line. 16-15 South Africa, 25 minutes into the second half, and it's been 25 minutes of unenterprising rugby. Not what everybody had hoped to see after that dramatic first half in which Rob Lowe and Stoffberg both scored good opportunist tries, and O'Driscoll, with help from Patterson, scored a fine one for the British Isles.
Well, the hold-up now is for Gareth Davies, who's having obvious trouble with that left knee of his. It's actually surprising that the bad luck that this man has had. The tackle by Narsboter was not particularly heavy, but he must have gone down a little bit awkwardly. You can see the face of a man who's played in an international. It's rough out there, it's pretty tough, and he's not at all happy with his left leg. But I think in Ollie Campbell, the Lions have a very adequate and talented replacement. They could be lucky that they have Ollie Campbell, who's been having a little also trouble with injuries, and this is certainly bad luck for the Lions.
Number 16 is Ollie Campbell. Comes from Ireland, 7 caps for Ireland, and 26 years of age, and also suffered from injury on the tour. Must be checked by a doctor before the replacement can come on, and play is resumed. Kevin de Klerk under the ball. Moolman gives it to Stoffberg. And Martins Leroux is down and almost trapped there. Derek Quinnell digging for it. Colin Patterson into a lot of trouble. Prentice is there. They're shoving in. Leroux, number 3, is also trying to do something to help.
Yes.
Barney Craven, and the Eastern Province president was just in front of him a moment ago, as they go down once again. Ollie Campbell on the field, and 2 knee guards.
Again, the Springboks using a 5-man scrum.
Moolman is out of it, so is Duplessis. With those forwards intertwined, very hard to know who was actually going forward there. Red and green jerseys on both sides. Prentice the last man out, and a kick for Urban. Well, the last one was a very long one, and successful from inside his own half. Instead, it's going to be Campbell. Fielded by Ray Mort.
Well, I think that was good captaincy by Bill Beaumont. It was a long penalty, and if Andy Irvine hadn't hit it right, the Springboks would have been in a perfect position to counter-attack. A lot of room to move.
Jeff Squire watching, and Wheeler trying to shove the ball through on the ground, watched by Mr. Palmard. South African ball on their 22-metre line. Now we've got the Irish international pairing of Patterson and Campbell, who know each other well, at Bloemfontein. Squire and Quinnell there. Green jerseys all over the ball. Last man up was Martin Sleroux. Offside in that ruck, and here's Ollie Campbell with his first touch of the ball virtually, and certainly his first kick at goal of the afternoon, with 12 minutes to play in the match.
Well, the Springboks made some silly mistakes in the first test, and one would have hoped that they would have learned, but that was not a very injudicious play by international forwards, and the referee picking it up very clearly.
A vital kick. Will the Lions take the lead? No, they will not. It's still 16-15 South Africa. 11 minutes to play in the second international. South Africa 1 international to 0 up in the 4-match series, and play is resumed. Awkward sun there for Colclough and Beaumont. And Clive Williams, who now gets his head in, number 1, loose head prop. That's Derek Quinnell, number 8, trying to wrest the ball out of the ball. Campbell on Pepino. Gravel, he's marked the ball, and the free kick is allowed for a fair catch. 1 moment later and Ray Gravel would have sailed in. That's Ollie Campbell with the red hair. Pienaar kicks his own and gains useful ground for South Africa.
Casey Pienaar had another tremendous game this afternoon.
Into the last 10 minutes. Suspense is almost unbearable for everybody here. On both sides, of course. Even the hundreds and hundreds of British supporters here must be feeling precisely the same tension. 1 point is nothing in terms of a margin of lead. "16 exhausted forwards go down again." Patterson on the blind side. Now Hermes Hayes, not the safest of men in the air, and not the safest touch kicker either. To Irvin. He's safe now. Botha to Bloemfontein, to Duplessis, and now it's Mort. A useful kick ahead in the chase with Irvin. An anxious moment as they ran onto the rubberized running track covered temporarily with grass for this afternoon's international. That's Ray Mort from Zimbabwe.
Well, perhaps Ray Mort with his strength should have held on to that one and taken Andy Irvin on.
Colclough under it. Prentice gets his head in at the back. Campbell in possession. This is hard. A Dua finish as the shadows reach right across the famous Free State Stadium in Bloemfontein. Kevin de Klerk, an exhausted man. Number 2 in the line-out. Prentice in front of him. Mulman at the back in 4th position. Behind him Stoffberg, then Duplessis. That's Deon Stoffberg. Scored the try earlier. Second try. Halfway line. Hermes Hayes after it. So is Irvin. Hayes, who knows the Free State Stadium well from his Free State days. Martin Sleroux and Millman go up together. Kohlkopf is there, so is Beaumont. Stoffberg, challenged by Wheeler, and holds on to it. Help from Billy Karts. They're trying to get it through to Selfrontain. That was the boot of Colin Patterson. He's game for anything, this fellow. Steve Stradham on the near side of the field with the flag high. And now Billy Karts to throw it in. That's Graham Price, well known to you in New Zealand. Beaumont who does the work. Now Gravel. David Smith who misses him. Gravel still going. Driscoll takes it a few metres. Jeff Price in possession. Squire, not Price, I'm sorry, and he's still going. The Welsh captain, 25 metres on his own. Now Patterson out to the right. This is Campbell, and Carlton just couldn't make it there. Good defence by South Africa, and again the Lions try. Touch shot, his flag is high. Gerrit Kutzer on the far side insists the ball was out. There are 6 minutes to play, and the score still 16-15, and South Africa now desperately defending.
Tremendous support play by the Lions, and there again one saw John O'Driscoll, who's I think the forward of the afternoon. He's been in the thick of everything, and whenever he's in possession, the Lions manage to get the ball back. Devon Serfontaine in a little bit of trouble there with his knee.
And the Lions won't be loving the Free State Stadium this afternoon, because it was 6 years ago that they were so nearly beaten by Free State after that triumph at Loftus Versfeld in the second test. 2 points behind as they went into injury time, and so many of us will remember that final scrum of the match with Willie John McBride insisting that the Lions give one almighty shove, which they did against 7 Free Staters, and they scored a try through Gareth Edwards and J.J. Williams, which saved their unbeaten record on that tour. There they are again this afternoon at the same stadium, a point behind, very close to full time, and Naas Botha thumps that as hard as he can and gets a 30-metre touch. He hasn't goaled his kicks quite so well this afternoon, but that was a good one. 5 minutes to play, and what's left of the sun is in Peter Wheeler's eyes. Right at the back, Jeff Squire. Mornay du Plessis, who won't release it even to Bill Beaumont, who's got his arms round him. Derek Cornell chasing off there, and Naas Botha in possession. Two great kicks in succession.
Well, the South Africans in the crowd were crying for a penalty there, but good advantage allowed by Mr. Palmade.
Still 2 tries to 1 is the scoreline in tries. South Africa have it, just managed to avoid the referee. This is Willie du Plessis. No, it's a long pass to David Smith. Outside him, Mort. Now Mort with a run. Taken by Irvin. Now Botha inside to Stoffberg. 10 metres from the line. Full back Pienaar. A kick through for Hayes. This could be a great race. He's there. The joy on Hayes' face. The crowd will love him, and there we see it again.
Watch here how quickly Casey Pienaar sums up the situation, moving into fly half. A beautiful little kick across, and Gerrit Hayes controlling the ball, using his speed and going down on it brilliantly. Great play by Casey Pienaar, sized up the situation immediately. Naas Botha had carried on the play, and this vital kick.
3 minutes to go. Let's watch the kick. That was so close, but the margin of difference now is 5 points. South Africa is still not out of trouble. Let no one be mistaken. 5 points, a try and a conversion, and the British Isles could still win the match. Now we watch it from the other end. This is the camera at the end, and unquestionably a try by Kermeshace, and back to the action in front of the main stand. Patterson finds Ollie Campbell right into the Springbok pack, which is trouble indeed. Lions looking for penetration now. Woodward to Gravel, who's found a bit of a gap, and a great tackle there. It was David Smith who did the damage, and it's Pienaar again. Carlton in defence. Kermeshace is there. Casey Pienaar, there was the wave of triumph. An eruption of joy from 60,000 people. That must make the series safe for South Africa. Hugh Bladen will see you through again.
Well, again, it's that man, Casey Pienaar, on his home ground. Watch how he comes up here, seizes on the situation. A kick by Morne du Plessis, but it's Casey Pienaar who's up there, and with the help of Gerry Kermeshace going away. Look at that, Gerry running off the ball, allowing him to throw a dummy, and what a great try by the Springbok fullback.
Here comes the conversion by Botha. It's over! South Africa have now scored 4 tries in the match to 1. And there's Kermeshace running away from a different angle to dive over and surely put South Africa in an unassailable lead, with Botha's successful conversion from the touchline. 26 points to 15. The margin of 11 points must surely be safe. Mulman underneath it. Martins Leroux is there, so is Stoffberg, and now South Africa wrest the ball through. That was their hooker Willie Kaatz, who played the Lions type of play there. That's Serfontein, the scrum half, an invaluable link man to the now famous Naas Botha. But it hasn't been Botha's afternoon, it's been Pienaar's afternoon at fullback.
Well, the Springboks at the moment, a good scrum there. They've only got 7 men in their pack. Rob Lowe is off the field.
Play has moved into injury time, and running onto the field is Thijs Berger for a Springbok cap. So number 18, Thijs Berger of Northern Transvaal. A thrilling moment for him. He is now capped for South Africa, and that's the South African 10-metre line. 1 minute of injury time played. South Africa lead by 26 points to 15, and it would look as though they cannot lose this 4-match series. Big drive there. Mort kicks it up onto Woodward. Avon is there, but his can't be used. Fine tackling by Ray Mort on the right wing. Moved across to the left.
Well, Thijs Berger getting his first cap, and a lot of people thought that he should have taken Tiaan Stoffberg's place. But I must say that Tiaan Stoffberg has had a great game this afternoon, and there is Rob Lowe being carried off.
The match is still alive. South Africa into that scrum with new fire in their veins, and Campbell finds Gravel, and Gravel finds a good tackle there. Fine work by David Smith again. Now Peter Wheeler of England tackled by Morne du Plessis, and still the British Isles attacks from the halfway line. This is Carlton. He's got Andy Irvine with him. Now Willie Kaatz back to Botha.
Well, Willie Kaatz getting over very well there for a hooker to be in that situation. Shows that he's motivated, shows that he's got his team at heart, and great work by Willie Kaatz, but a little knock.
Very nearly 3 minutes of injury time. And there'll be celebration in the streets of Bloemfontein, although those of us who've been here for the last 48 hours have felt that Bloemfontainers have been celebrating already. From 9 o'clock this morning, the streets were agog with a mass of people confident the Springboks would win. But not until 5 minutes ago was the scoreline good enough to make it look safe. 26-15. And Campbell tries again. This is Woodward and Irvin. Again, that great tackle by David Smith. And Gravel goes right through and scores. An incredible thing to have him come through and score a consolation try after very nearly 4 minutes of injury time. Let's watch it again.
Well, this is good three-quarter play by the Lions. Watch how Irvin comes up on the outside. And there he is now. Watch how he keeps the ball alive as he goes down in the tackle, keeping the ball off the ground. Great work by Andy Irvin.
Four tries to two. And Ollie Campbell from the touchline. 26-19 with the conversion to come. Narrowly missed, and Mr. Palmard insists that play should go on. So still that margin of 7 points. And there's the tackle. Now we watch it from the north end camera. Gravel coming towards us to score a fine try at the end of the game. Campbell in possession, but it's over. South Africa cannot lose this four-match series against the British Isles. Again, South Africa has won in Bloemfontein. Only the second match played here, and the score is so similar, but it's 26-19. South Africa led by 16 points to 9 at half-time. They have scored 4 tries to the British Isles 2, and the rest of it kicks by Davies, Irvin and Botha on behalf of both teams. And Morné du Plessis, the South African captain, is chaired off the field. It's his 11th match as captain, and what a joyous evening it will be for him and for the 60,000 people in Bloemfontein who will celebrate to the early hours of the morning. An international series that can't be lost, and hometown boy Casey Pienaar has carried off the field.